going on YouTube? Welcome to Will's Workout Workshop. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. In this video, I wanted to talk about the perfect push-up, how to execute the perfect push-up. I did a video on this a few months back, but I figured that I would probably do another video on it, restating some of the tips that I provided in that video, but also a few new tips that I think are very important when it comes to reaping the full benefits of the push-up that can be obtained. Because if you make a lot of the same mistakes that a lot of people make with the push-up, you're not going to get the best bang for your buck. So as we know, push-ups are very popular. They are probably the gold standard for overall upper body strength and fitness when it comes to measuring fitness. So high school fitness tests, the military, you see push-ups everywhere, right? And I think, to me, that's a red flag, because not only are people mostly stronger with their pushing muscles as in opposition to their pulling muscles, but we're also very tight in this region. So no one ever talks about the body weight row, right? I think if you go to any gym, any commercial gym across Canada or the US or wherever, most people ask you, how much do you bench, right? It's never how much do you row. It's always how much do you bench. So we are, as a society, obsessed with these muscles here, and we completely neglect the backside of our muscles, or the backside of our body, sorry. The rhomboids, the traps, the rear delts, the lats, the back in general, is very important when it comes to overall fitness. So I don't understand why the push-up, people use only the push-up most of the time when it comes to measuring fitness. It's a fantastic exercise. With that being said, I think the row should be up there equally with the push-up. With that being said, here are a few tips for you to perfect your push-up. The first tip I stated in my last video, but I will restate it because it is very important. That is to protract your shoulders at the top of the push-up. So most people, when they do the push-up, they will kind of just push like this, right? With no engagement of their serratus anterior. So actually protracting your shoulders forward like that at the top of the movement engages the serratus anterior. So the serratus anterior is responsible for the protraction of the scapula. So you definitely, at the top of the push-up, want to engage your serratus. The second tip I stated in my last video again, but it needs to be restated. That is to engage your glutes and your core, right? So if you don't have your glutes or your core engaged, your push-up will look like this. Right, so you notice my core, the middle of my body is basically very slack, right? It looks like a half moon almost. There's no engagement there whatsoever. It just looks it makes the push-up look very sloppy. And as we know, the lower body affects the upper body. So if you tense up your glutes and your core and your legs and everything down there, it will affect what's going on in the upper body. So you can sort of translate that energy into the upper body and probably perform more push-ups as a result. So the first tip, protract your shoulders at the top of the push-up. The second tip, engage your glutes and your core. The third tip is to tuck your elbows in ever so slightly. So another issue with people performing the push-up is this. They keep their elbows flared out like this, and they think that it's going to work more of the chest. And so the elbows flared out, it doesn't look good, and it puts a lot of strain on the rotator cuff. So tuck your elbows in a little bit, you know. It doesn't have to be right in towards your sides, but not flared out like this. Probably at about a 90-degree angle. Tip number 4. The fourth tip I want to give you guys is emphasize quality over quantity, right? And the reason I want to emphasize this is because a lot of people are under the assumption that more is better, right? And they'll perform as many push-ups as they can, and they'll go to failure, which I'm not saying failure is a bad thing. However, the push-ups will start to look like this if you haven't done a lot of push-ups in your life. So you know, people, they start to reach muscular fatigue, and they start to get those grinding reps, right? and they start to put their shoulders into it, and they do whatever they can in their power possible to reach that last push-up or to complete that last push-up, and it looks terrible. So put your ego aside, do 5 sets of push-ups, but leave a rep or two in the tank and build up volume over time instead of going for those grinding reps, because those grinding reps, they don't look good, and they're not good for your shoulders either. Tip number 5, the last tip, guys, is to do the reverse, right? So like I was stating at the beginning of the video, go and do some rows, right? Whenever I do a pushing exercise, I always make sure to do the opposite. So if I'm doing bench press, I'll do some sort of horizontal row. If I'm doing push-ups, I'll do some body weight rows, right? I'll combine the two. I find that this helps me keep my shoulder girdle balanced, and also I find that after doing push-ups or after doing bench press, I get very tight in this region, and I need to stretch, and I feel the need to open myself up, right, to externally rotate my shoulders. And that's another exercise you can do. You can do external rotation with the band. You can do some face pulls. You can do body weight rows, whatever you want. Just do something that's going to open you up and sort of stretch you out instead of close you in. Because that's the problem with push-ups and close grip bench press and all the chest work that people do these days, is that they get very tight in these muscles here, and they start to elongate the back, which leads to horrible posture and tight muscles. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is Will's Workout Workshop. Stay tuned for the next video. Alright? See you guys.